Back home, a lot of maintenance on the truck, and also reloading, restocking, putting clothes back in, changing, blah, 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 blah. All in this episode of
The Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live and furry studio audience. That is Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning into another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Alright, sitting out here behind the alignment bay at Sap Brothers in Cheyenne. Did the wedding this past weekend. Now before I head back out, try to get all the work done on the truck and trailer. Turquoise Trucking requires a DOT on the truck and trailer every 3 months. And that's because they don't have a shop. So that's their way to guarantee that the trucks and trailers are all in good working order and there's no surprises and all that, which is good. I like it that way too, because then, for one, they reimburse me for the DOT on the truck and trailer. And then two, then I know about any problems that come up. Like he found an air leak on my brake line this morning. I kind of suspected I had that because I'd be at a stoplight, especially if I aim downhill, and I think I got my brakes on and I start to roll just a little bit. So it was the line when you're applying the brakes. But he found that. They did the oil change. They did everything else. I knew I might need to buy one steer, if not two. And because I'd been pulling to the right for the past, almost 2 months or so. And so I knew I needed an alignment. Problem is, there's not many shops I trust to do an alignment. I trust this shop here in Cheyenne, the Sap Brothers here. I'll trust the Sap Brothers in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and the Sap Brothers in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. They're about the only ones I trust to do an alignment. I've had alignments done at a TA or Petro before or a Bosch shop. And you're pretty much throwing your money away because usually they don't do a very good job. So I knew I'd probably need to replace the right steer because I'd been pulling to the left. And so when you pull to the left all the time to try to keep yourself straight down the road, you're scrubbing the outside of that right steer tire. And so it was scrubbing the left inside of the inside of the left steer tire as well. Not as bad. But, they suggested I probably should do both if I have to replace, at least the one, which I am always usually on board with. I think I've always replaced steers as a pair together because they're your most important tire on the road. And they're the ones I'll usually pay the most money for. Drives, I won't usually pay for the Michelins. I'll pay for a second or third tier tire for the drives. And trailers, yeah, that's where I'll buy the Chinese tires. On my trailer right now are double coins. They're a Chinese tire I got last summer in July in Amarillo, I think was where I was, at a Love's, because they had a great deal on it. So I'm like, give me all 8. But I should be all set. My drives have still probably got at least another 60 to 100,000 miles worth left on them, so I'm good there. But they got DOT done, they've got the oil change done, they got that airline fixed, they put the new steers on, and now I'm just waiting for my alignment. And hopefully we'll get this done. So then everything will be done as far as mechanically. I still have to try to swap out the battery cables to put the new cables on that are feeding my inverters. So hopefully I'll have less issues with that. And if I have time to fix my trailer skirts this afternoon, I will. If not, that's not an emergency. That's something I can also do on the road. Still got to do all my shopping. I do have my list done to go back out on the road because, as I've said before, I stay out weeks at a time because I take it in the shorts coming home and coming back out. So to make steady money, I need to stay out for quite a while. But ever since I've done the whole remodel, it's so much easier because this is a much nicer place to live now with the toilet and the sink and the full bed upstairs and big fridge and separate freezer and got my Ninja Foodie, my microwave and all that. So it's a beautiful thing. And yes, I'll be cooking up more taco meat. So I have other good food, and maybe I can sweet talk my wife to make some of that chicken Dorito casserole that she makes. It's oh so good, baby, yeah. Yeah, well, it turned out the toe was out of alignment. They have the toe and I can't remember what the other one is on the steer axle. And then your drives could be out of whack by, instead of being straight, my left hand doesn't get straight, remember that. They might be a little bit in, and that can force you to one side. So I didn't know if it was that or if simply like you have, your both steers where one of them might be a little bit off and that's what was happening. So that's why the right one got chewed up a lot more. At least Sap Brothers did give me $100 for the other tire, because it was still in relatively good shape, and it could be used for a used tire for a trailer or something. So, you know, that's why I love Sap Brothers. They cost so much less than a TA, Petro, or Love's. They always have the best deal on tires. That's one thing they always say is, we'll beat any competitor's tire price, and they do. Paid $4.39 a piece for the steers. That's with FET. And their installation is much cheaper than a TA or Petro or Love's. And their balancing's cheaper and everything, so that was all great. So alignment's all done, everything got all done, so that was awesome. I've got brand new steers. They're 16 plies, which I don't normally run on this truck. I normally only run 14 plies, but they didn't have the 14 plies. So 16 plies are just a beefier tire. Mainly it just means the sidewalls are a lot stronger, which means they're going to last a lot longer. As long as you keep an alignment good and all that, these steers should last a long time. Oh, and by the way, if you're curious, they are Toyo, T-O-Y-O. I got a set of these last year for the steers, and I've been really impressed with the Toyo tires. So drivers, if you're an owner-operator and you're looking for steer tires, try to get the Toyos from Sap Brothers. They last better. I've had Goodyear steers, and they didn't last for crap. I've had Michelins. Those do last, but boy, do you pay. A Michelin steer is $600-700 these days. And these Toyos last just as long. And and you're saving like $300. So I do recommend the Toyo steers for you owner-operators. All right, here it is, still Wednesday, later in the day. Yeah, I got all the service done, got out of there just before noon. And then did my shopping, and that took a long time to get everything put away because I got a little bit more of some things, and so I had to kind of shimmy them in here and there. And I can say every little space in this truck is taken up, but we're all restocked except for my clothes and underwear. So clothes and underwear is clothes. I mean, people say, oh, put some clothes on. They don't say, and underwear. Just in case, you know, you were wondering. All right. So, yeah, did that, did all the shopping, got everything put away in here, except I still need to put clothes in, and my wife cooked up more taco meat for me, and she made me more of that chicken Dorito casserole, baby. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be taking that with me. Got to put that in here. I got to get the bed remade, and she's nicely going to make the bed for me. Isn't that nice? I just got to pull off all the old bedding. Meanwhile, I got everything put away, and now I'm going to put in the new cables to the inverter, and I have now encased them in their protective plastic thing. I had to order that stuff off of Amazon to get the big enough cable, or the protective stuff big enough to go around the bigger cables. But here are the black ones, here's the red one. Tell by the little red end sticking out. So now I've got to go disconnect the other ones and tape off the ends, make sure I don't spark anything, and then pull them up, undo them from the inverter. Then we got to stuff the new ones down in there, get them back into place where they should be, and fire up the inverter and make sure everything's working. What do you think? All right, so I did get the cables, the new cables all connected back up to the first inverter, and then now leading up to the second one. I'm going to first try it that way and see how they do. I've got the fridge and freezer plugged into the first inverter, the 2,000 watt one, and then the 3,000 watt one that's running the lights and everything else connected on the hard wire and all that, plus the microwave and Ninja Foodie. Now, once I get back out on the road, I'll see how that does. I was having problems with the 3,000 watt inverter shutting down, saying it wasn't getting enough battery current. And I think that's because I had those original smaller cables back from in the day from when I first had a 1,500 watt inverter in this truck that came with the carrier unit. So we'll see if this helps out. If not, then I may move things around. I may put the bigger one down below and the little one up in the cabinet right up there behind my head. So we'll just see. But this is the first, you don't want to change too many things at once, because what if the one little fix fixes it? Yeah, right? So there you go. Work smart, not hard, as Tourette's trucker always says. All right. I do want to thank Junior. Junior sent, just before we left for New York, there was this box from Amazon that said to Clutch Trucker, and I opened up. It's a giant box. It's, I think, 27 cans of the little Incredibites, Purina Incredibites that I give Rusty every morning. And I give him the dry food in the afternoon. And he sent a whole 27 things of it. It's 27 days worth. I already had about a little over a half a month still left So now I've got a month and a half worth of the Incredibites little food for Rusty. So Junior, thanks again for that. Really do appreciate that. All right, so did the inverter thing. Now I'm gonna, since I have longer cables, a little bit longer cables than what were there initially, I'm gonna mount the inverter that had to be sitting behind my seat. I'm gonna mount it up on that little, I keep calling it a false wall. It's a real wall. It's just, it can move in case I need to access a little panel back there. So I'm gonna drill some holes and bolt it up to that so it's up off the floor, which will work better for it. And we'll then get out on the road tomorrow. I haven't heard from Bo yet. I did tell him today that all the work on the truck was done, and hopefully he'll get a load for me tomorrow morning. Just do want to say, this is why, you know, I'm out for weeks at a time, and if I come home, I try to spend a few days off like I did this time. We went to the wedding, but then had a few days. I actually didn't do much at all yesterday. I actually took almost a whole day off. I know, it's shocking. I hardly ever get a full day off. I'm out there working all the time, and I still did some shopping yesterday. So got some of my supplies and stuff, and then me and my wife and my son Ben all went out to lunch today at Guadalajara. Oh, good stuff. Got the carne asada. Yeah. Anyway, but yesterday I really didn't do much else. I actually took the day off. I know, I never do that. It's weird. It felt weird, you know, because it's like I'm always working. You know, I'm one of those that if I don't get things done, I feel guilty. Well, I didn't end up getting to the trailer skirts tonight. I did get everything else out here. All my clothes are out here. Everything's out here. It took a long time to get everything put away. You know, when you're going to go out for weeks at a time, I got all the maintenance done on the truck this morning, and then I got everything shopping done and all the stuff put away this afternoon and all that. It takes a long time. It takes a full day worth of time just to get everything ready to go back out on the road for weeks at a time so that I have everything I need. So, you know, that's another thing a lot of people don't think about trucking is, you know, yeah, one full day at least at home is spent maintenance on the truck and getting everything loaded and restocked and ready to go again for another few weeks at a time. All right, so now I've got my drill and everything else in here, and we're gonna drill some holes and mount that inverter there against that wall behind my seat, which is between my seat and the toilet area. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, you can see the inverter now that I've rewired it back there with the new cables and everything. It's just lying down on the floor. It was laying flat. I'm going to mount it up against this board, which is a little wall between my seat and my toilet area. So we're going to get to that right now. Went over to Menards, bought some more screws. I've got two different lengths because I wasn't sure what was going to work best. Quarter inch, got some nuts, got some washers, yada yada yada, so everything to make this work. Alright, got my holes drilled there. We're going to see what's going to work better. I bought the 1 1/4 and the 1 1/2 inch bolts, and I'm going to test them now and see which works best. Alright, well it turns out the 1 1/2 inch bolts are working better. It's sitting on that little board there, so I just put the top ones in first. Haven't tightened them down yet. Now I'm going to drill the holes for the bottom so the inverter stays up there above the floor against that wall right behind my seat, and we'll see how all this will work. Okay, I've got the 2000 watt inverter now with its new cables. Get my thumb out of the way. Coming up through the floor. Those are the big beefier 0 gauge cables. They're going into the back of the inverter, back there, and then that also leads up to other cables, which you can see right there by my foot, going around the toilet. Those go up my chute, up on that side, up there into my cabinet, upstairs for the 3000 watt inverter. I'll show you that in a second. Then I'm bolted onto that wall that is not a permanent wall because there's this panel here that I might have to have access to. I know I had to replace a couple of fuses when I was working on the toilet connection and everything else before. So that's why I can't permanently mount this wall, but I can mount the inverter to that wall right there behind my seat, and hopefully the new beefier cables coming up through the floor there, down to the battery box, will make everything better. Alright, so there you can see the inverter there. That's my 2000 watt inverter, mounted behind my seat, onto the wall there, next to the toilet. Then the cables are running around the toilet, up the chute there, and going up here to my 3000 watt inverter, which is hardwired, so that I have my lights and outlets and everything else. I've got an outlet up here that runs my clutch trucker lights, and I even have an outlet up there and another light switch that runs those lights back up there in my upper bunk area. So we'll see if the beefier cables coming from the battery bank, 4 batteries down under my driver's seat, up through the floor to that first inverter and into the second one now, will make my Ninja Foodie and microwave run a little bit better. We'll just see. So I think bigger cables should help. That's what they recommended with the 3000 watt one. I just went with what was there initially because I was just trying to get it all done, you know. But now that I've been out here a couple of months, almost 3, and had time to now put the newer cables on, the beefier ones, and now mount that inverter up on the wall behind my seat, that should also help. Better ventilation and everything else. So we'll see, and we'll hope that does everything and makes it better. Well, hopefully that'll solve the problems I was having with it saying I didn't get enough battery voltage. I think it simply was a fact that the cables weren't big enough, but we'll just see. And for those of you new to the channel and wondering why I keep talking about the remodel and all that, I've got 111 updates all about my sleeper remodel. How I completely gutted out this sleeper. I pushed through the back, I cut out the back wall, and I built a whole new upstairs area with my bed up there. And I added, like I said earlier, the fridge, the freezer, the sink, the closet, toilet, blah, blah, blah. I'll give you a real quick little tour here. First off, there's my Zizzo Forte, my little folding bike I put in front of my passenger seat so I can get a little exercise while on the road. There's my dash and all that. All right, so looking over here, there's my stairway, and that door does flip down. So I keep my water and my toilet chemicals. Those doors open there and there for extra storage. Those are drawers I built into my stairs leading upstairs. There's my TV up there, a nice new TV that I can use the Wi-Fi to connect to so I can watch my favorite stuff. There's my clutch trucker lights. That's looking upstairs. All right, so here's my seating area, which I created. I have a pet bed there and my coat there, but there's the fridge and freezer. Big closet I made. There's my microwave. Behind that door is my Ninja Foodie. Got a sink right there. Right now it's just kind of holding stuff. Here's my cooler I put next to my seat while I'm driving. This whole shelf area folds up, and that hides my toilet below. We just worked on the inverter right there on that little false wall. I've got cleats underneath, so this sits over it and makes a flat surface. Now, let's climb upstairs. All right, right here, little nightstand area. I've got that full of stuff. Here's my nightstand top. Another light switch for that light there, and that went over my bed. Another outlet up here, so I can plug in my phone with them upstairs. And this is my upstairs bed area. Full-size bed up here. I ran my APU duct up into that vent, and I ran another one up there, so I got good air circulation up here. There's my APU controller. But a nice full-size bed upstairs, and that's the extension sticking out the back, and I used the original padding and everything to make it look nice. So I have an upstairs and a downstairs. Like I say, on this side I built the whole stairway. There's another vent I put in for the APU. There's another one down there. Here's the cabinet I built on this side, holding all my tortillas and breads and plates and utensils, bagels. And then I've got my 3000 watt inverter down here on the bottom. It's vented in the back and vented here on this side. There's a quick overview of my whole remodel, how I made this truck a little mini apartment. Alright, well thanks for tuning in for that one. Yeah, that last video I did where I didn't have Rusty, everybody complained, "Where's Rusty? We miss Rusty!" So, I went and grabbed him from the house, so here he is. Alright, so he can do his little Rusty thing. He'll get his bacon strips. All will be back to normal. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, please like and comment. I get your comments usually within a couple days. Sometimes takes a little longer because I'm a working truck driver. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you know when the new videos come out. There's Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter, and as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. You didn't know I was this good with my hands. Yes, I did, but hurry up before the guards come back. Alright, he's waiting for it. There it goes. It's up there in the pet bed. Go get it. It's not the duct tape. Or actually, that's Gorilla Tape, to be fair. Alright, there's some little pieces, so there you go. Happy dog. Getting down to the bottom of one of the bags that Junior sent us. So it's in little pieces here. But it all tastes the same, don't it, Rusty? Yeah. Because he's a big and stripped dog. There's a little piece down there you missed. Right over here. Oh, silly dog. Look, right here. I have it in my hand. Rusty. There you go. All right. Happy dog, look. Look up here.